Good morning. Today we are celebrating our 16th annual MLK Diversity Awards program. Over the past 16 years, many wonderful and deserving individuals, community groups, educational groups, and businesses have been honored and recognized. I'd like to ask all of the past recipients, either individual or group representatives that are here, to stand up and let's acknowledge you and recognize you for your past achievements. So, good. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of you for your dedication to promoting diversity and inclusion in our Tempe community. This day, this event, this 16-year tradition is a wonderful and important celebration. For we are standing here together, united as a community of neighbors, families, and friends. We do so in recognition of the great works of those leaders like Dr. King's, who tireless dedication and love for freedom brought forth the most sweeping and powerful social reforms in the history of this nation. How fitting that 2014 marks the 50th anniversary of the most sweeping civil rights legislation in the history of our country, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This piece of legislation was monumental in that it prohibited discrimination based on race, color, religion, and national origin. While 50 years have passed, progression and change continues to occur. In just a moment, we'll hear from Dr. Matthew Whitaker on this very topic. I would now like to turn our program over to our mayor, Mayor Mark Mitchell. Mark. Good. Welcome. Good.
Well, thank you, Armando. Well, good morning and welcome to the 16th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Diversity Awards program in Tempe. It's so great to see everyone. This morning we're here to celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King and to support the City of Tempe Martin Luther King Diversity Awards. We believe not only in the importance of having diversity, but we recognize the opportunities that come with including diversity and inclusion in all aspects of our city business. For example, Dr. Richard Florida, in his book, The Rise of the Creative Class, states, fostering a diverse community with a vibrant presence is good for economic development, a region's competitiveness, and its ability to attract and retain high-impact employers and employees with knowledgeable workers who seek diverse and exciting cities in which to live. These aspects of our community are what help make Tempe the quality of life and the place to live, and all the aspects that I desire as mayor, as well as my council colleagues. And I think that's very, very important in our city of Tempe. In Tempe, we've been fortunate to have had our diversity office since 2002. Its mission is to promote a fair and equitable and accessible environment for our community and our workforce. And our diversity director, Rosa Inchausti, and our senior diversity specialist, Jenny Belusic, and Dee Hobson's work very hard to see this mission through with programming and celebrations that honor our rich diversity. I'd also like to thank them and recognize the huge role in organizing this morning's breakfast. So Jenny and Rosa and Dee, could you please stand? Through Diversity Dialogues, a free 6-week program that brings community members together to discuss diversity and share their life experience, our regional unity walk with surrounding cities, and our Tempe Tardeada, which celebrates our Hispanic history. We show the importance of what we put in these values in our community. Through our supplier diversity program, the Diversity Office works to reach out to organizations and employers to communicate upcoming procurement opportunities and help demystify the process. This program ensures that all businesses have access to bid for services and goods needed by the City of Tempe. And because without our small and minority business partners, Tempe recognizes that it wouldn't be the successful and diverse community that it is today. Obviously, Tempe's worked hard to brand itself as a welcoming city, and this effort has been rewarded numerous times, and most recently by the National League of Cities, which gave Tempe a Cultural Diversity Award for our Teen Diversity Dialogue program. This is just the most recent award of a string of many. I am proud to be part of this community that places such a huge value on inclusion. Thank you all for coming this morning to show your support of these values and to hear our keynote speaker, Dr. Matthew Whitaker. Dr. Matthew Whitaker is currently an ASU Foundation Professor of History and a founding director of the Center for the Study of Race and Democracy. He has earned a BA in Sociology and a BA in History at Arizona State University, where he has completed an MA in United States History. Dr. Whitaker earned a PhD in History with honors at Michigan State University. He specializes in U.S. history, African American history, and life and civil rights, race relations, social movements, sports and society, and the American West. He has won over 30 awards for his research. Teaching and service has given innovational speakers and motivational speeches and lectures in nations throughout the world. His commentaries have been featured on CNN, NPR, PBS, WVON, KEMET, and other media outlets. He's also the owner and CEO of the Whitaker Group, LLC, a human relations, cultural, competency, and diversity consulting firm. Dr. Matthew serves on numerous boards, including the Distinguished International Advisory Board of the Muhammad Ali in Louisville, Kentucky, and Inroads. At this time, could you please help welcome Dr. Matthew Whitaker, our featured speaker.
Good morning. Oh, we can do better than that. You know that's obligatory when the speaker says good morning and you say good morning and the speaker says, come on, let's say good morning again. Good morning. Good morning. This is a wonderful, wonderful day. I really enjoy the Martin Luther King holiday, and I am blessed and honored to be able to share a few words with you. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Mayor Mitchell and City Manager King, everyone associated with the City of Tempe, in particular Jenny Balusik and the Diversity Office for thinking well enough for me to include me in this familial gathering. This holiday is very, very special, in part because I think it affirms the very best of our hopes and aspirations for each other and our citizenry. And as we move forward, I hope that what I share with you today will be able to sustain you throughout the year as we encounter the trials and tribulations of being human, but also trying to build bridges as we move forward. Before I do that in earnest, there is someone that I want to, or a group that I want to recognize here that's very, very important. I'm going to conclude my remarks by talking about young people and supporting them and helping them move the dream forward. But there's a group here that goes by the name of Diversity, Inc. that has been working with me at the center that I direct and in the community to bring people together. A lot has been said about young people. Some of it is very negative and pejorative about young people sort of spacing out, not doing this, not doing that. What about the young people? I think a lot of that is unfounded, because there's lots of young people in our midst that are living the dream, helping other people live the dream, and working hard to build our society and move it forward. Diversity, Inc., if you can, could you stand up and just let the folks know where you are? These folks are working in our community. Thank you. They're doing diversity training, they're doing cultural awareness and all sorts of things, and they're carrying the baton forward. I have but a little bit of time with you, and there are some things that I really want to emphasize that I think are very important as we move forward. The main thing that I want to emphasize and draw attention to is a speech that King gave in 1968. Many of us know the I Have a Dream speech. Well, at least we know half of the I Have a Dream speech. Many of us forget the first half of it, because it was the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, not the March on Washington for Dreams. But there was another speech in 1968, and the King in 1968 was far more pointed about what he wanted us to do than the King in 1963. Now, the King in 1963 knew what he wanted us to do, but by the time he got to 1968, he was a little tired. And that's probably an understatement. He was a lot tired. And so he is far more direct about what he wanted us to do. In a speech called the 3 dimensions of a complete life, King gave us a template for how we can prepare ourselves to go out and implement those specific things that he wanted us to do. So I encourage you to look it up when you leave here, the 3 dimensions of a complete life. That's the first step in a 2-part series of things that King wanted us to do. I'll get to the other part, the second part, in just a second. But as far as the 3 dimensions of a complete life, King was on point when he urged us to think about what they are and what they can do for us. What are they? They are the length, the breadth, and the height of life. The length, the breadth, and the height of life. It's what he wanted us to aspire to perfect as we move forward. What is the length? The length of life is the self-love, the love for oneself, a healthy love. Working to make your talents usable and beneficiary for the community. A self-love. One can only serve other people first when you have a healthy love for oneself. Self-love within a communal context. So a healthy self-love, not vanity, not pride, but a healthy self-love. Empowering yourself, using your skills to be able to work on behalf of other people, a communal context. In other words, you are not maximizing your talents and potential as an individual, no matter how much money you make, no matter what office you occupy, no matter what letters you have at the bottom of your name, no matter what clothes you wear or where you live or who you associate with, if you are not using that social, economic, and political capital on behalf of other people, particularly those who need it the most, the least of these. The people that we talk about the least. We talk about the middle class a lot in America, and the middle class is very, very important. But we rarely talk about those that are living at or below the poverty line. And many of us who have nice clothes and good salaries are probably about 3 or 4 paychecks away from being among that group. The length of life, focusing on the inner powers, not so that you do it just so you can celebrate yourself, but you do it so you can empower other people. That's the goal of making yourself whole and maximizing your powers for other people, not to engage in some cerebral gymnastics to prove how smart you are. And I say that because I'm an academic, and we do that a lot. The length of life, pride in unique abilities that you have. He said in a quote once, if it falls your lot to sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel. Sweep streets like Langston Hughes wrote poetry. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, he said, be a scrub in the valley, but be the best little scrub on the side of the hill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, be a trail. If you can't be the moon, be a star. It's not by size that we win or we fail. Be the best of who and what you are. And when you do that, you'll be less likely to hate on somebody else. Because you know there's that player hatred about us. They have something that I don't have. But pride in oneself, the length of life. The second is the breadth of life. King told us that the breadth of life is the outward concern for others, the welfare for others. And he gave us an example. He invoked the parable of the Good Samaritan. And he told us that the Good Samaritan was good because he helped that fallen person on that road between Jerusalem and Jericho when others passed that person by. The Samaritan was good because he was concerned about more than himself. Now, there are justifiable reasons that we can think of that the person that was fallen didn't get helped, because we do it often, right? I was born on the Southwest side and raised on the Southwest side. And even though I was raised to help people, I was also raised to watch my back. You know, people roll up on you the wrong way. You got to be careful. You want to give, but then there's that apprehension. We don't think like the Good Samaritan did. We think and act the way most humans do when we're afraid. But the Good Samaritan was good because he was willing to take a risk for someone else. He was good because he was willing to take a risk for humanity. He was willing to ask, what will happen to this man if I don't help? Not what will happen to me if I do. You understand what I'm saying? What will happen to this person if I don't help? Not what will happen to me, not if he'll do something to me, but what will happen to him. And that person is the embodiment of all of us, an extension of all of us. So what happens is we see an individual, we think individual. King told us we should see an individual and think humanity. What will happen to the poor, King said, if we don't help? That's the extension. What will happen to the poor if we don't help? What will happen to the sick if we don't treat them? What will happen to our democracy if we don't vote? Did you feed me when I was hungry? Did you visit me when I was shut in? And are we simply the keeper of ourselves or the keeper of our brothers and sisters? A lot of people invoke those terms, brother and sister. My grandmother was somebody who didn't use those words lightly. She used to say, I'm so tired of people saying brothers, sister so-and-so, and brother so-and-so. They don't really feel like I'm their sister. It's theater. It's performance. But King said, we truly need to look in the face of each other and see our brother and sister, for that is what we are, inextricably linked in this tapestry of humanity. We are our sisters and brothers. How do you treat your sister and brother? Do you throw them away? Do you visit them? 66% of our prison population are black and Latinos. 66%. America's population is 3% of the world's population, yet we have 25% of the world's imprisoned individuals. What about them? What happens when they get out? That's the breath of life, our concern for others. And the third is the height of life, and that's the upward reach for something larger than oneself. Now, whether you're a believer or not, and King was a Christian, so the height of life for him was God. But to whoever it is, the outward reach, the height could be your community, your neighbors. King advised us to not miss the forest for the trees, because at the end of the day, all of us together make the forest, even though we are individual trees. That's the height of life. And I should say, when I look out at this crowd, I am so encouraged because in 1968, King told us that he may not get there with us, that mountaintop. But he was with us then. He's with us right now in this room as I look at the face of humanity. All of the folks in here that are working and striving and struggling to unite and build bridges. For it is far easier to tear down a bridge than it is to build one. To build one takes sacrifice, the suppression of one's ego, because we all have one. We all do. The height of life, the outward reach for something larger than oneself. That's the three dimensions of a complete life that King talked about. But he wanted us to use those three dimensions of a complete life for specific things, and this is what I'll close with. Because in 1968, King told us what he thought we needed to do. But a lot of folks don't like to invoke the King of 1968. They like the King that was abstract and theoretical and dreaming. The King that said, judge one by the content of the character, not the color of their skin. That's used by all sorts of people in the political spectrum, sometimes in an exploitive sort of way. But what did King want us to do? Action items. The Poor People's Campaign is what he was working on when he died. He wanted us to focus on eliminating poverty. Jobs. He wanted a guaranteed living wage. Guaranteed living wage. He wanted housing for all of us, a roof, running water, a laboratory. He wanted, for the educators in here, equalization of funding for education. This is King not just dreaming. This is King saying this is what we need. Because after all, he studied sociology in college and wanted to be a sociology professor before he got the calling for the ministry. Universal health care. He wanted that. Now, I'm not going to go into the politics of it. And some of you are very happy that I'm not. But he wanted you, I just say that because Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, they weren't the first people to talk about universal health care, and neither was King. It goes back almost to the founding of the Republic. Specific things, but to never give up on our brothers and sisters. And as I close, to not be practical racists and practical non-altruists. And what does that mean? It means that King said there's a lot of people that run around with anti-racism on their lips, but they do not demonstrate anti-racism with their actions, at least not in a sustained way. They affirm the need for anti-racist behavior with their words, but not in their actions. The same with altruism. They affirm the need for altruism with their words, but not with their actions. So we need to, in my estimation, think about what King said and embrace the height, the breadth, and the length of life. And acknowledge those action items that King wanted us to focus on as we move forward. So then we ask our young people, what do you know about Martin Luther King? They can say, he had a dream. They can say more than that. He had a dream. What was that dream? That we can all get along and hold hands. Well, what does that mean? What is that? How does that engender progress? What do you mean? I don't know, because he just had a dream. King wanted us to know specifically what the dream was. And we can do that by summoning our inner light. Summoning our inner light and suppressing the darkness, because he also said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. To summon our inner joy and to take it wherever we go. To understand the fierce urgency of now. The fierce urgency of now. People are suffering and dying and struggling now. And they need us to develop and enhance the 3 dimensions of a complete life and to work on those action items now. Use our light, not the darkness, the fierce urgency of now. And he really believed what James Russell Lowell said, when James Russell Lowell said, truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future, and behind the dim unknown stands God keeping watch above his own. And to the young people, I simply say, and my children are here too, and all of the others, and the young and the not so young. The past belongs to our ancestors, and we honor them. The present belongs to all of us. But young people, the future belongs to you. Thank you very much for listening to me. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
And now it's time to present our Diversity Awards. At this time, I would like to invite our Tempe Mayor, Mark Mitchell, and our City Council to join us. The Martin Luther King Diversity Awards were created by the Tempe Human Relations Commission to honor those individuals, businesses, and organizations in Tempe that have demonstrated a commitment to celebrating diversity and inclusion in our city. The individuals, businesses, and groups that we honor today know very well the meaning of the phrase, together we're better. And the community of Tempe is a better place for their time, for their fine and ongoing efforts. Today, we will present the 16th Annual Diversity Awards to individuals and community groups in 4 different categories. Our first category today is the individual adult. The recipient of the individual adult category is Greg Smith. Greg Smith volunteered, let's give him a round of applause. Greg Smith volunteered his time as a facilitator for the City of Tempe's Diversity Dialogue program. Over the past 5 years, Greg volunteered his time facilitating both the spring and fall sessions every Tuesday for 7 consecutive weeks each session. His passion for wanting to expose people to dialoguing and how it can make a difference in people's lives in our community was exemplified every week in the program. He led every session with the goal of educating individuals who have differing opinions to be respectful and courteous to others. Greg also a trained 11th hour companion through the hospice of the Valley, where he patiently and lovingly sat with people in the active dying process, giving relief to family members. Greg received special recognition from the Office of the Governor for his volunteer services after being nominated by the Hospice of the Valley. The Tempe community lost a great man when Greg passed away on June 13th, 2013. Accepting for Greg Smith is his partner Daniel Roberson and nephew J.R. Wilson. Good, a round of applause. Good. Again. Our first awardee in the youth category is Constance Kennedy. Constance Kennedy is a senior at Marcos de Niza High School, where she is active in the Stand and Serve Club, 1 in 10, and community service programs. Constance is a caring friend and responsible bystander. She has intervened on multiple occasions and sought guidance on how to help friends from harming themselves or who have been harmed. By speaking up and helping others, Constance demonstrates the leadership and courage necessary to make our world a safer and more respectful place for everyone. Please welcome Constance Kennedy. Our next Youth Award winner is Lorabe Mughal. Lorabe Mughal is a senior at Corona del Sol, where she has been committed to teaching inclusion to her peers. Lorabe participates in the Unity Club, where she was a Unity leader her sophomore and junior years, and was also president of the Unity Club her junior year. As a Unity Club leader, she participated in intense training to learn how to facilitate discussions on race, religion, social justice, and tolerance. Lorabe completed training every Wednesday night over the course of several years while participating in all the regular club events as well. As a leader at events, her focus on leading discussions about religion has been very popular among other students. Finally, Lorabe was a counselor for the diversity camp, Minitown, organized a fundraiser for battered women's shelter, and organized Mix It Up lunch day at Corona del Sol last October. Again, welcome and congratulate Lorabe. Our next Youth Award winner is Dania Simpson. Dania? Dania Simpson is a senior at Tempe High School, where she is a peer educator in the Stand and Serve Club. In that role, Dania serves as leader for both middle school students and for other peer educators who are just getting started. Dania has made several presentations to youth and adults about youth action and the prevention of violence. In addition, Dania is involved in the school marching band, color guard captain, robotics, international baccalaureate program, student council, Altamira president, international club, Hope, scrapbooking club, band council, and the math team. Phew. Good, congratulations. Our final Youth Award winner is Daryl St. Eves. Yeah, good. Daryl St. Eves is a senior at Tempe High School, where he is an active member of the Stand and Serve Club. In addition to being a part of the Stand and Serve Club, Darrell is a defensive lineman for the school's football team. Not only does Darrell work with his high school peers to foster a culture of acceptance and identity respect, but he inspires his peers to promote diversity. Darrell is looked up to, and his peers frequently approach him for advice. Please welcome and congratulate Darrell. The next category of our awards is in the educational category. The first award winner in this category is Charles Galleros. Good. Charles Galleros is an Arizona State University professor and advisor for several student organizations, including the Chicano Latino Law Students Association. In 2006, Professor Galleros laid the foundation for a new mentoring program, the ASU HNBA mentoring program, which connects lawyers, law students, undergraduates, and high school students. This program works at each step of the ladder for higher education. High school students are exposed to information about college. Pre-law students learn about law school admission process, and law students get an inside view of the practice of law with their attorney mentors. Professor Galleros has brought law-related inspiration, knowledge, and experience to the thousands of ethnically diverse students from middle school through law school. Professor Galleros shares his award with other team members who are attending today and should stand for recognition. Lydia Montelongo, Marisol Diaz, Honore Kellingham, and Adam Almaraz. Our next educational awardee is the City of Tempe Police Department School Resource Officers. Yay, good job, everybody. The Tempe Police School Resource Officers, SROs, are uniquely dedicated to serving the youth of our community. The SROs partner closely with the school district, school administrators, teachers, parents, and caregivers to keep students and school campuses safe. The SROs provide a police presence on school campuses, perform criminal investigations, counsel and mentor students, and teach hundreds of hours of early intervention and crime prevention programs. Above and beyond school safety and security, the Tempe Police SROs work hard to earn the trust and respect of students, building relationships that have a powerful, positive influence on the direction of young lives. Please welcome City of Tempe Police Department School Resource Officers. Our final awardee in the educational category is Dr. Gabriel Escontrias, Jr. Dr. Gabriel Escontrias, Jr. is a consummate diversity advocate by coordinating, participating in, and publicizing events that feature diversity themes for ASU students and faculty, staff, and the community. He serves the ASU community as a mentor in the President Barack Obama Scholars Program, as development chair of the ASU Chicano Latino Faculty and Staff Association, as a member of the Committee for Campus Inclusion, as the academic advisor for Tau Psi Omega fraternity, I hope I said that right, Incorporated Alpha Chapter, and as the president of the LGBT Devils Pride Chapter, ASU Alumni Association. Gabriel has developed and supported change within ASU to make the campus a more friendly and respectful environment. Congratulations. Our next award category is in the community group category. The first recipient for this award is the Church of the Epiphany, Tempe. The Church of the Epiphany is committed to serving the needs of local, state, national, and international communities through the many programs it supports throughout the year. The small 300-member congregation participates in and/or supports the Child Crisis Center, East Valley Wildlife, Habitat for Humanity, Paz de Cristo, Matthews Crossing Green Food Bags, Assistance for Independent Living, Meals on Wheels, United Blood Services, Lenten Cereal Drive, Back to School Drive for New Pathways for Youth Project, Angel Tree Prison Ministry, Arizona Humane Society, Sock Drive for Homeless at Paz de Cristo, Adopt a Family Christmas Wishes for the 10 Thew Elementary School families, and financial support for the Grauman International, Heifer International, Venture International, and Evangelicals for Mideast Understanding. The Church of the Epiphany, Tempe, has been quietly making a difference in the lives of others for over 50 years. Again, congratulations. Our final recipient in the community group category is Temple Emmanuel of Tempe. Temple Emmanuel of Tempe. The Temple Emmanuel of Tempe places importance on Tikkun Ulam. This is Hebrew for making our world a better place. The congregants are leaders and participants in the I Help program, serving meals twice a month, in addition to Christmas dinner to Tempe's homeless. Their social justice group participated in a series of Latino-Jewish dialogues and listened to the experiences of their Latino neighbors to offer their voices and energy toward plausible solutions to immigration in our state. They continued to meet and develop ideas through the Real Arizona Coalition. Temple Emmanuel volunteer staff their weekly Tempe Community Supported Agriculture Program, which is open to all members of the community. In addition, congregants volunteer at Project Cure, UMOM Read to Me program, Treasures for Teachers, and Habitat for Humanity. Again, welcome the Temple Emmanuel of Tempe. Congratulations to all of our award winners. Marvelous programs, marvelous outreach, incredible, just huge inspiration to all of us in the community. Thank you all. And now I would like to introduce Nancy Puffer, the Tempe Community Council Board President. Nancy will be presenting the Unity Grants. Oh, great. Good.
Good morning. The City of Tempe is proud to fund programs that reinforce anti-violence and respect for diversity among students in the Tempe Union High School District. This partnership has been in existence since the year 2000, and we continue to see positive effects among our diverse youth. Courtesy, civility, and respect for others are core values of our community and should be reinforced and refined among our students through school and civic experiences. The Diversity Unity Grant programs, and more importantly, the students and staff who drive these programs, are the realization of this mission and philosophy. Before we honor these programs, I'd like to take a minute to thank the following: the Tempe Community Council Board of Directors, who volunteer their time to review and evaluate these grants, the Tempe Human Relations Commission, for their ongoing commitment to strengthen and enrich these important programs for Tempe students, Superintendent Dr. Kenneth Baca, and the principals who immediately saw the importance of this grant and who are helping to create unique programs in their schools, and the Tempe City Council for their strong support of the Diversity Unity grants as they continue to foster and promote civility, courtesy, and respect for others. We're grateful for your support. Thank you. In the interest of time, I ask that the representatives from Corona del Sol, Marcos de Niza, and Tempe High Schools please join me. While they're making their way up to the stage, I would like to briefly tell you about their winning programs. Corona del Sol High School is being awarded for their Unity Club. This program includes diversity and social justice speakers, focusing on bullying, violence, and inclusion. Parents and community members are encouraged to attend presentations that focus on providing tools to embark on difficult conversations relating to diversity and violence. This program also includes in-service training and on diversity-related topics and collaboration. Marcos de Niza High School is being awarded for their Diversity Awareness Program. This program includes activities that educate and increase awareness of positive alternatives to violence and self-destructive behaviors, facilitation and development of peer mentoring and leadership skills, and promotion of empathy and bystander responsibility. Tempe High School is being awarded for two programs: a leadership workshop introduced by the Student Council to incorporate appreciation and awareness of differences and similarities among the student body. This program will incorporate workshops to train students to become stronger leaders and be more aware of the diversity surrounding them. The second program is Stand and Serve, which is a partnership with Peer Solutions, whose mission is to prevent violence before it begins by mobilizing schools, families, and communities to cultivate safety, equality, and respect as norms. On behalf of the City of Tempe, the Human Relations Commission, and the Tempe Community Council, we thank you.
Those of us that work regularly in the diversity world and talk about and deal with, and in my case, do training about diversity kinds of issues and concerns in our community, recognize that it's not just about diversity. Diversity is, as most of us know and recognize by this time, is about our differences, and not only understanding our differences, but celebrating those differences and really being able to work with the differences among us. The other part of that formula is inclusion. So it's not just about diversity, but it's about inclusion. And I think as we look around this morning, we have 500 or so participants and members of our community. And I congratulate, again, our diversity staff and all of you for being here. This is truly a hallmark kind of occasion and opportunity, not only to recognize that there are differences, to be inspired by the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, but an opportunity to really celebrate that inclusion that is a part of our community. And so I want to extend a personal thank you to each and every single one of you that are here this morning, because without all of you, we wouldn't have the wonderful community that we have today. So a big round of applause to all of us and all of you. Before we conclude, on behalf of the Tempe Human Relations Commission and the City of Tempe Diversity Office, again, I'd like to thank Dr. Matthew Whitaker. Thank you so much for being here and sharing a part of yourself with us. Thank you. Again, to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Our community values and celebrates our diversity and the strength that it brings. Let us continue to remember that we want to live this diversity and to celebrate us being a member of our community every single day. So enjoy the rest of your day. Get out there and be a part of our community as you are this morning. And thank you all so very much for being here.